All right, we got a cool one tonight. We've got Alexandra Given with Home Staging by Alexandra tonight. And you're on the west coast of Florida, right? Where are you at in Florida?
I am. I'm largely based over here in Sarasota, the Sarasota Liquid Ranch area. So
what a beautiful area. I love that area out there. You guys have gorgeous beaches.
We do.
We were looking into, when we came down here from Washington, we were going to be on the west coast because I love the beaches over there. But I was poor, so I just gotten out of the army. So I had to go on the East Coast and live the Port St. Lucie poor life at first. Maybe I'll work myself up to the West Coast.
Listen, we all start somewhere, and trust me, I kind of did the same thing. And you sort of start in one spot and then just kind of edge in. And I think with Realty or with home staging, you just got to find your in, and then you find your niche and your market.
Yes.
A little time, but if you have beaches that are as beautiful as we have, then it makes it easier.
Yeah.
To kind of out for a couple of years, then you get going.
Makes everything look better. So, how long have you been staging for?
Since I was about 11 years old.
11 years old.
I used to, as soon as I figured out how I could move furniture around the room of our house, and also, like, one of the first houses we lived in the UK was like a sort of 18th century house, and none of the floors were very level. And so sometimes I find out my parents would put my bed in one space and it just would sort of wobble.
Slowly.
So I kind of started moving around my bed in my bedroom. And then there was one night my parents went out for dinner. We had a babysitter and I was 11 years old. And she asked us what we were allowed to do. My mum and dad were out for dinner. And I said, Mummy said it was okay to swap the dining room and living room around.
Oh, boy.
But I felt that they were inappropriately located in the room, so they weren't work for me. And so we were tugging to move this back, and I convinced her to do it. And my mother came home, and my mother and father came home, and my mother was furious, but she never took it back.
Really? That's amazing.
I know. And then from there it went, and I worked in real estate in central London in Knightsbridge for a company called Hamptons International Realty. Shout out to them, they're amazing. And I had lots of clients that have beautiful homes that frustratingly never seemed to get it quite right for me as a realtor when I went in to go and do a showing. And like, if you're really trying to get it sold and you're in, got a little competition in the office, you're like, I've got the buyer, got the perfect buyer. And then you go in and you can tell they've got 2 dogs and a cat. And please put your toilet seat down. Could you have made your bed? All of these things would have helped. So it kind of grew from wanting to unpack and relocate all of my friends' furniture instantly on entry. Like, come for dinner. I was like, gosh, you should push your sofa back a couple of inches. And I'm not sure like that there, but lovely. Oh, geez, wonderful. And it's sort of, and that combined with being a realtor and just knowing that I could get these homes to sell quicker if I just educated them either to do it, or if I just showed up an hour earlier and I'm like, sorry, I made your bed, put your toilet seats down, I put your trash cans away, everything's in the dishwasher, don't worry, I think they liked it, thank me, not you. So it kind of
So you sold real estate before you got into staging?
I did, and I worked in a couple of different areas in London, so started off in that kind of market that kind of takes you up to sort of the 250, 300, and then if you're really good in London, you work into another area, and then you get into, you can sell bigger houses, but then you suddenly realize instead of selling, lots of property, like 5 to 10 properties a month, you're now down to 5 because they're at a higher value. And then I went up into the last couple of years. I was working in central London. I was in Knightsbridge, that kind of $1 to $3 million price range, which is high, but also something that we see a lot, certainly in my neck of the woods here in Sarasota and Lake Ranch. And it's really important to know how to show those houses. People live in houses for longer at that level.
Yeah.
It's a bigger hit. As a realtor, you have to really understand your buyer, and you may have had your buyer working with you for 2 or 3 years. And you have to really know, so you've got your buyer that's like, you've got to find me the home, but at the same time you're the realtor, so you've got the seller and you're protecting them. So you just have to, I mean, anybody that wants to go and get their realtor's license or do either my job or your job, that's the one thing you need to learn. Unless you can get both sides, even though you're representing one over the other, you have to make it work together. And I just learned that instead of getting frustrated, I was going to try and educate or give them an option of saying, hey, I can come in and show you this. So I do a lot of consultations on bigger houses when I'll go in and people have been in them for 15, 20 years. They might be a second home, and the way we live in our homes and the way they need to be for sale are completely different. My house looks like somebody's just thrown up in it right now. And and other times I come home, my husband's like, if the dog wasn't here, I'm sure we've been burgled. Like, so it's really, it's sort of it's kind of a curve that's kind of taken me. People are like, oh, you should get your real estate license. You'd be really good. I'm like, I get you. Trust me. Like, I've had everything riding on it. I had a mortgage in 2007 in the UK. I had it from 2002 for 14 years in central London.
Yeah. Wow.
I've ridden this journey out, and I've also lived in 43 countries. I've moved 43 times, lived in 5 countries on 3 continents. So I moved a lot, and I've helped a lot of clients move. Yeah, and it's all just a journey. So I've just taken elements, and now it's like, you need to get your house ready. You've been in it for 5 years. You've got 3 children. You've been in it for 10 years, whatever. You've had it. Everybody's journey is different. And at Realtor and Stager, if we can then, my best deals are done here with Realtors that I've worked very hard to build. And we all learn what we need to do and why we do it. And when you can both work together, and I think we're averaging between 5 and 12 days right now to get things from being staged to being pending.
That's incredible. So I know now I'm on the east side of Florida. Our average get it on the market to, oh my gosh, it's pending, is 35 days. Over in your area, are you roughly the same? Or like, forget staging, just the normal everyday house?
I would say, without staging, then yes, now, we certainly are. They tend to sit probably between about 21 to 36 days.
Yeah.
It's all to do with pricing. And again, it's more so now with the photographs, because we suddenly had that, that period of time when we're all in lockdown, and then those open houses were taken away from us. And, not being one to capitalize on, global pandemic, but I'm 100% somebody who wants to capitalize on a global pandemic, because I worked really hard in order to get here. And I've done that by thinking outside the box. And that's what we have to do as Realtor and Stager, because living in our homes, if we just live in our homes, we bring up families, we have pets, we have friends over, we have a crappy sofa, we've inherited a grand piano we can't get rid of, we have all of these elements. And so it's kind of a guidance, in some capacities.
Yeah, and I really like your comment about we're all on a different journey. I think so many like superstars in this business have their streamlined system that they want to put you in. And if you don't fit, they kind of say, too bad, just get in line. And if you can figure out a way to really meld with people individually, it really sets you apart. Real estate, staging, whatever it is you do. So I think that's a phenomenal comment you made.
Yeah, I think, and you just have to be completely honest. And you can go as deep as the fact that I've lost. The reason that I am now here, obviously in America, my very southern accent, Queen's English. But my father lived here for 20 years, so he lived over on this side. And so I've been coming here for many years. I'm very familiar with it and kind of the houses. But there's so many, where we live, there are so many different houses. You right the way range. Like, it can be something that I'm staging something at 200,000. I mean, last week I staged 4 properties, and they started from like a little 1-bed condo at 180,000, and then the other one is I'm stripping something down that's going to be on about 1.9, and we're taking layers off that, packing them up, helping them put them into storage, and explaining why we're doing this. It's like, somebody's not just going to come in and love your house when you're smothered all over it. We can't see it, But and I also understand that to drive people just beside themselves at the thought of having to pack up a home of 20 years, or there's been a loss, or, you know, my father passed away when I was here, and that's why I ended up here. So I've gone through that journey, you know. So anything, I try to, every client is valuable and is on a different journey. And so I have all of my realtors who build a rapport with me. I get them to cover my costs to come in and just to have a consultation, and I do it as a fractional price, because then it will allow me to be able to get in the door, because I'm an empath, and actually, you know, and I've been on my journeys in my life, and so I can understand people's, and I'm a lot happier going on them with them, because I know I can hold their hand, and I know I can also go, listen, if you pay me this much, I'm going to come in, I'm going to pack everything, I'll move it to North Carolina for you, I'm going to turn this over, we'll get this staged, we'll be photographed next week, and it will sell. And, you know, so you just kind of adapt. We have to adapt. It's just a realtor and a stager, we have to adapt. We've got no choice, especially now we've got a pandemic and an election, so we're screwed. We've got to be open-minded and just be like, yes, whatever you say to me, can you do this? Yes, I can.
Yes, I can.
Then I'm going to step off there and I'm going to throw up a little bit, and then I'm going to come back and figure out how I'm going to do it. But everybody goes, and and I'm still kind of doing that a little bit, but now I've got 5 years it's taken me to get really to have that kind of consistency and rapport with my solid realtors who have gone on a journey. And I'm like, when you know me, when you see my work, you will always use me.
Yeah.
And
so you're talking about a lot of amazing things from my perception that you do that I don't know that every stager does in this profession. So tell us a little bit about, because I think everybody thinks they know what a stager is.
I know they do. I love this.
What a stager is, what the differences are, and what you do specifically to set yourself apart.
Well, first of all, thank you for that question, because I love it.
It's okay if I bring it up. Yeah, exactly.
I get it when people meet me and they're like, oh, so what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a home stager. And they're like, oh my God, like decoration. I love that. That must be
tables.
So fun. And I'm like, right, come, let's go. Can you push a car? Come on. It's so fun. Let's get in the car. It's 92 to 95 degrees at the moment in Florida. Our Jew, it's 120 of humidity outside. Yeah. It's going to pour with rain every afternoon. And last week I staged 4 properties in 3 different locations here. And I'm up at 5:30. Sometimes I'm doing proposals and consultations at 4 a.m. so I can be in my truck at 6 a.m. in the morning, and it's hot, it's sweaty. It's you sleep with millions of furniture up in your mind. You're constantly moving furniture. You forget how much furniture you've got, and then 3 properties sell at the time, and you realize that you've got 3 full houses that I go in and pack up in a day, get trucks, and have moving around to different places. And you're like, oh, cute, you make it look pretty, and I want to punch them in the face. Yeah, I do. I do. And so 3 or 4 of those people have been employed by me. And so now they realize that it isn't so pretty, but it can be a lot of fun. But you have to, it's a tremendous amount of hard work that you have to educate sellers and your realtors that it's not going to be a few $100 and they're not going to get a whole house staged. This is, you have to tell them how you work. So I'm like, this is how I work. I'm going to come in and do a consultation. Don't talk to me. Let me just take some photographs and walk around. I need to see your house through the eyes of a buyer. Yeah. And then I'm going to be completely honest with you, because I've been the realtor that hasn't been honest with my client, that 8 months down the line is having terribly awkward conversations.
100%.
Because I haven't been honest for the upside. So the realtors and the top realtors that I work with and the way that I work is so we get it right from the beginning. Yes. But if you're going to go on a blind date, you should make an effort. Yes. Because if you're going to turn up with messy hair, little egg on your shirt, or your little scruffy or wrinkle, you're not going to get a second date. Yep. And if you do have an open house and you're in that situation, then you've just speed dated your way right the way through the whole. You swipe left on everything and nobody, or right, you've got no buyers. You've got no second date, nothing. And then all of a sudden, then you're on the clock and you're on MLS, and people are like, oh gosh, 179 days on the market by the time they get to me. And I'm like, take it off the market for 2 months and come back to me.
Yep.
You are being punished a little bit, but the chances are, like, I can still come in right now and do what I want to, but unless you take those photographs down and off, like, go and delete your whole Facebook page and all of those pictures you have with your cat or whatever it is, with your golfing buddies. You're not going to get a girlfriend that way. I'm going to show you how to do it.
Yeah.
And then, and so and I found that I have to keep sticking to that. Like, this is how I work. Please, and be kind about it. I'm not just wanting to pack up photographs of your children and everything, or put this stuff away, or and we all have odd collections of things. But it's going through that journey. I'm like, I'm here with you. I will help you pack up.
Yes.
This room or this is too much for you. Just let me know. I'm here to help, little or as much as you need.
And that's really one of the most challenging things, is how do you have that honest conversation that you have to have if you want to be successful, but you don't want to help them either. Yeah, well,
it's taken me about 5 years to really finesse that. And in all honesty, if it's easier for me to come into your home and just be able to kind of walk through and really, I can see through everything and get to the bones of the house, that I know what your next buyer is going to want to look at. But I can't do that if you're in here and your husband is, and your 2 dogs, and sorry about the cat, and should we wake the girls up so we can go in the bedroom? I need people to be out. So that's one thing that I learned. In order to do my job, I like the initial conversation with them, but then with my clients, I then ask them to kind of commit to allowing me, whether it be a day, or I do getting houses ready for photography, where sometimes I just need them to leave the house and I come in and spend 2 or 3 hours and I bring in some props, or I'm staging the whole house, or I need 2 days with movers to pull stuff out and bring other stuff in. I just realized that if I'm not clear at the beginning, you just end up with the whole family that haven't realized they need to get out, and you turn up with a truck full of furniture, and Larry the dog runs out the door every 5 minutes, and nobody's ready, and then you're stressed and you can't hear yourself thinking you can't do your best work. And so I've just had to, you sit with yourself and you're like, okay, how can I help myself better, and how can I help my clients and make it smoother? And added heat and humidity from Florida makes you kind of come to those decisions quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about that $180,000 condo and the $1.9 million home. What are each of those owners looking at when it comes to what it is you do for them, and what kind of prices they're looking at from beginning to end?
Okay. So it really varies, and I try to work it out, obviously, depending on how little or much they need. So some of the bigger homes tend to the larger property needed like the last 2 layers of living in that home taken off. Yeah. So there's a layer of photographs, and then very often we all have kind of a taste. So whether or not it's, sometimes it's something we follow, whether it be a sports team, other time it's because we're, a profession or something else that we follow. So it's really having that property required me to spend 3 or 4 days in there packing things for them. Things like artwork or draperies or window treatments, and taking them down. Sometimes we're looking at maybe need to come in and do some paint colors or repainting. So the larger homes tend to be in a couple of stages. So we're coming in and looking, and I start from the outside in. So pressure wash your driveway.
Yes.
Trimming down plants is my big thing, because plants are like children and they grow up.
Yes.
So what people realize is that you plant all of the beautiful landscaping, and then you're in the home for 5 years, 7 years, and the plants just grow up past the window, and then you go in the house and you can't see any light because the light is only coming in here. So the larger houses start with a conversation like that, where I need them to do some things, like going around and we're checking exterior lights, do things work? Yeah. It's all about also making sure that part of it is that I'm self-prepping them as well for the inspection process. It's also every box is checked. Like,
Yes.
is this working? Are your sprinklers working?
Love
Have you had
that.
your electric checked to see if that works? When was the last time your air conditioning was done? Do you have a pool service? Landscaping, trimming everything away from the outside of the house, trimming everything away from the cage, bring everything down below the bar of the cage so we can see it. Can you get the light in? Is anything green? Let's pressure wash everything, weed everything, trim everything down, and brown mulch. If I see orange mulch, I lose my mind.
Yeah. Okay. So now you're talking about the difference between, 5-10 days to get it closed if I'm using someone like you versus, okay, maybe it's 30-40 days if I don't. Some people are going to be okay with that, but this is a seller's market. Talk a little bit about the time difference in a buyer's market, and even in a seller's market, talk about the difference in the money that they're going to get between being staged and not being staged.
So what tends to happen, and I find that if you let me come in and you listen to the advice and we go right the way through, and that's anything from a small condo. So one of the smallest condo that I did last week was actually in like a retirement village for people. So they sell the condos and for a lifestyle for people to come down and move to here, which is obviously we have a lot of. So I did a 1-bed condo in there for them, and then also did a 2-bedroom where they use the 2nd bedroom as like an office with a day bed, and that's an interesting one because you've got people at different ages from sort of 60s to 80s that are moving down there. Very strong age for us here in Florida, where a lot of people moving down. So that one was really quite fun, and from a point of view of getting in and putting everything in place. The bigger houses, I like them because it's just completely different challenge. So I could be doing one which is kind of like, let's just get everything into the truck and up there, and then and everybody loves it. They're like, oh, it looks amazing. And then these bigger houses, when you've got 3 people and in your truck, you're up a 14-foot ladder because you're trying to take down, really strong red velvet curtains that have been up for 17 years, and there's no light in the house. And you have they color coordinated those, so you've had sofas and armchairs, and so the steam runs right the way through the house, and I have to strip that down in order to show it. The difference in time, I think, that providing they priced it correctly, and this is the thing, and I think it helps them because I make sure when I stage that I know where they're going to take the photograph from, so you don't have to overstage. You stage a room so that anyone's going in there can click on it, see the size, and what that is. And I use just neutral, contemporary, hit that kind of fine-tune, a little coastal, a little bit more sophisticated, depends what it do, a little bit more modern. You just have to know your market. So speaking to your realtor, like who buys here? Is it going to be a couple in their mid-30s or 40s? Is it someone that's a pied-à-terre that wants to be able to have their kids on a sofa bed? Or is it an assisted living facility? It's so different down here. I think you have to listen, and pricing is also key. So if the realtor knows their market and they're say like, I can put it on for this, but not this. If you get the pricing right, you can stage it, then we've seen them go multiple offers in a buyer's market. And that's the best news. So they have 2 or 3, and I've done just with the last ones, I think I'm about to hit 26 million in properties staged and sold so far this year.
Man, that's crazy.
I could probably give you a dozen of those that have gone on multiple bids, and those being on multiple bids from something at like 240,000 to multiple bids on something that was up at 1.8. So it's all about getting it right, because if the home is right and that's the value in it, and as you'll see from on the other side of Florida as well, like we're really, compared to where prices were in like 2006, 2007 to where they are now, it is a great buyer's market, but it's also not a bad seller's market either. It's just, it's just tricky because we have that unknown factor, and that's always going to affect all of us. You've got your interest rates, your unemployment, inflation affect how people buy, and then you add in there a pandemic and an election, so your unknown factors. And I think we've all just got to be completely honest with our clients, make sure that their pricing is spot on, and then make sure they've got their they're going to that first date looking the best that they can.
So I did a little research before I got on here with you because I'm a numbers guy, I'm a numbers nerd, and I looked up that the average person gets 6 to 8% more for their home if it's staged. That number feels right. Does that feel right to you?
It is. It can vary between about 5 to 20% over unstaged properties. So that's the difference. It gives people because they're able to visualize. And they take that, and again, so that that's looking at numbers, and that's 2 to 3 times faster than the unstaged competition.
Yeah. And so when you look at, because I think a lot of people see a fee and they're like, that's a really high fee, I don't want to pay that fee. And that's the end of the story. That's all the further their brain goes. But if you look at how much more you can get and subtract the fee from that, and you're making more by doing it, and you're selling faster, it's a no-brainer.
It is a no-brainer. So, and I like the way that you put it. The way that I put it to them is that, okay, so I'm going to come in, and whatever I give you as my home staging proposal is probably going to be, on average, less than 1% of the value of what your property is on the market for. So if you don't choose to stage your home, and in 3 months' time, like you want to change the realtor, or you want to go back on the market, and so now we're at 93 days on the market, and your first price reduction was $35K. I bet you wish you paid me that to stage it.
Yes.
Big time.
Big time.
So that's why. So when they come back to me and they've taken that bigger hit, and I'll say to them, it's in your best interest right now, depending on which realtor they're with. Take a break, take it off the market. It's not having a wrist slap, but say, listen, it didn't work this way. So take it off the market, give it 2 months off, which I had a lot of clients that I went back to, a lot of people that hadn't chosen to go with staging when the COVID hit and we all went into lockdown. If they weren't living in the properties, I'm like, let me go in now, take them off the market, and I'll go and sprinkle my fairy dust, and you can stick them back on the market. Every single one that went on the market sold within 9 days. Every single one.
Really?
With 0 days on the market, with fresh photographs and staged, and they look beautiful.
Got it, man. Do you drive to Port St. Lucie?
I might.
No, you're like, hell no, I don't. Maybe if it's 7 figures. Yeah.
It's a little far, but no, but this is just what I've learned. So, and you don't want to chastise someone because at first everyone wants to try it, and I get that. And with some people, if I really, really think that they're just going to screw it up, I'm like, okay, I'm like, just trust me. Like I've given some people, I'm like, I will let them put like 50%. I'm like, I'm so convinced that I can sell this. Like I will let you put down a deposit, and I will do it, and it's going to sell.
Yeah.
And it does, if I know that they're priced correctly. We've always got the ones that will stick, and the ones that stick for 5 or 6 months is because either they're a little unique, we have some really, particular styles, and again, everybody's different. Some people are like, I know that I'm a little punchy, but, it's our second home and we can wait. Great. Other people like, you really need to sell, then let's tell you what to, let's have that honest conversation from the beginning instead of thinking, and I've seen realtors do it because I've been in real estate myself. Don't take a property on like, oh, look, they've said 2 million, we could do 2.2. You can't do your comms.
Yep.
I've been honest and gone in with clients and said, if they said 2 million, with the greatest of respect, I've staged this exact same house that had been on the market for 8 months. We took it off, I staged it, we put it back on again, it sold for 1.85. So don't put it on at 2 million. And if you do want to, then let me know when you're ready to come down in price, and then I'll come and stage it for you.
Yeah.
You have to sing from the same sheet. And that's how stagers and realtors are going to work well together. And I have some fantastic ones, and we've been on this journey together. And I'm grateful for them every day.
That's amazing. So let's end on a big win you've had for one of your clients where.
Yes, I just had a fantastic
one. You've got one, so let's hear it.
So we had a wonderful house in Lakewood Ranch, and they have beautiful big houses there. So they're between like 6,000 and 7,000 square feet.
Wow.
And this one had been on the market, and it had been, family home, second family home for 20 years. And I went in, and then with COVID and everything happened, the owner was actually English, flew back to the UK, and and then realized that it needed to come in, and that was the time. So the realtor contacted me, and she's like, Alexandra, I need you to come and work your magic. Like, what can we do? And I didn't have my moving team because of COVID, and we weren't sure. But I had one of my best friends he does in building contracting, and he was off work, and it was such a big house, so we're actually able to social distance inside it. So the two of us drove there separately and just pulled everything. We filled a 3-car garage with stuff that we pulled out of decor, all beautiful, but just enough to strip it back so the house could go on. Days of just taking stuff out and then putting stuff back in. And it sold, I think, within 7 days after that. It went pending, and it went pending and closed all within a month. And everything that we pulled out that was in the garage, we had a company come in and do a massive estate sale, and they sold those. And it was easier for them to deal with it with things out of the house than us in. And I think that just closed for like 1.885.
I bet they were ecstatic.
They really were. It was just, and it was a journey we all went on. My realtor is fantastic, and she always wanted me to come in, and this was one where we've been very honest on the price, and he had a realtor that was like 2.2, because he was English, and I was like, with the greatest of respect, so like, Tina wants to get you the best price, I want to do the best job for you. Whatever job I do at 2.2, it's not going to get you 2.2. I can get you 1.88. I can make your house look like 1.885.
Yeah. So
we did, and it's again, that's just a journey. It feels like a win because you've helped them, and he's not sitting here stressed out 3 months. And in fact, he flew back over and hasn't needed to come back over here. So we've taken a house that's just over 6,000 square foot and completely transformed it and remarketed it and sold it and closed it in under 2 months.
That's incredible. That's really incredible. What a cool story. So
it was a team effort. We couldn't have done it if we hadn't all learned how to support each other, and how critical it is from everybody, from real estate to, from realtors to home stagers, to having a good moving team, to having a good, people clothing, and your broker. Like it's so important that you grow and you have like your solids, because that's how we're gonna survive and take the best care of our clients.
100%. So what's your service area? How far? I know you won't come to me at Port St. Lucie, but where will you go north and south on the West Coast there?
So I will go really up to Lakewood Ranch. I'll do Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota, Venice, down to Northport.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And
I can be swayed sometimes to go outside of that, and it's only our clients in the past that have flown me places just because it's easier to fly me in and either pack things up or unpack them than to face the wrath of your wife or husband.
Exactly.
They'll fly me in, and then they just go away on holiday. He was like, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah.
So really. So make me a suggestion, and I'll consider it.
That's awesome. Well, I might, man. Next time I get a seven-digit listing, I'm giving you a call, because it'd be fun to work with you.
You should at least FaceTime, because then it could go through. You could go in and FaceTime through it, and then or send me some photos, and I'll do a little consultation and send it.
That'd be amazing. It'd be really cool to show too online, like what you do, like a little video, a time-lapse video, and just kind of show the different parts of it. And
I used to try and take a lot more of them. Then now it's easy if I'm in one room and I'm transforming it. Then sometimes I'll try and set up my time-lapse to do it, but inevitably it kind of falls over or it pops back up again and do it. But my website has Michael does some really good before and afters on my website, and I try and do more of those so people can actually click on and slide backwards and forwards and see the room that's staged and not staged, whether it was just messy before and we've changed it into something else, or if it was vacant and then staged. So I just think anything that people love examples. People love photographs. People love zooming in. They want to see a beautiful home. They were like, I want to buy that with everything in it. I hate this sofa. I don't want this. I want that. That's what you want. You want them to look at it and go, I want to live there, rather than, oh, great, empty room that I can't vision, or another empty room. So
yeah, I tell sellers all the time, you've got to have your price right. And once your price is right, you have to have phenomenal photos. Nobody reads whatever paragraph I write about your home unless you got the amazing photos first.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to, especially now, because people really, I will still come out for open houses, but it's really important to have them online. And it's really important because we're all nosy, and we're super nosy now.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are working from home. Think you won't zoom in on my background?
Yeah.
But everyone does. I'm like, who do you want them to zoom in on? What you got in your nightstand? I do. I zoom in on all the photographs that my realtors do. And I'm like, great, all 3 toilet seats are up. Brilliant. Nice job, guys.
Yeah.
Huh? I put those down, and it's just little things like that. But toilet brushes out. There's tissue boxes everywhere. It's just clutter. So they don't want to see how many coffee machines you've got.
Yep.
Knife blocks. Let's put those things away. It's little things. Men read space. Women like my furniture.
Say that again. Men read space.
Men read space, and women are like, oh my God, I love it. This sofa's amazing. I love this rug. This is fantastic. Guys walk into a room and they're like, this looks small. So if your sofa's too big, they're like, this room's tiny.
You're so right.
And they read it straight away when they walk, and like a woman will go straight. I'm like, oh my God, that's so, like, we look at this level. Guys look at square footage straight away. They're like, that couch, my couch fit there. What about if I wanted a recliner? What about this?
It's so funny.
Straight away.
Yeah. I'll bring buyers in and we'll look at a home the home is beautiful. The home is really nice. It's updated. Everything's great. But maybe it's an older couple with older furniture, right? And I'll say, doesn't this home feel a little outdated? But you can't find anything really that's outdated? Yeah. Yeah. It's because of the furniture. Can you get beyond that? And it's really interesting if you say it to the seller. Their comment is, well, people will look beyond my furniture to my house. No, they won't. Like that's what they're gonna see.
Yeah, incorrect. I do quite a lot of this again over in Lakewood Ranch, and done 2 or 3 of those really successfully just in the last month, where we've had clients and they've moved down from the Northeast, so we have a lot of dark furniture. Yeah, dark uprights, dark wooden cabinets, and covers with old TV cabinets. Nobody buys those anymore. But they can darken an entire room, and so you get dark furniture, and then they go with dark floors because that's what you're used to up north. And then you tend to find that with their second home down here, they're like, let's get rid of this, move it. But that's a lot of the furniture that you take out because everybody moves and think they're going to save money by shipping furniture, or they're attached to it. Like this is, my grandmother's table, I couldn't possibly part with it. I'm like, do you like it? And I hate it. My husband can't stand it. Yeah. But she'd never forgive me if I sold it. I'm like, well, you know what? Just give it away. Give it away and go get yourself a nice contemporary table. Don't ship it down. And then when you get to Florida, you can go really nice contemporary coastal instead of having a mahogany table, great big leather sofa, nothing that fits in. And no, people can't see past that. I can't. Sometimes I go into houses and I know how to fix it, but unless they're out of the house, I can move everything into the center of the room and take everything off the walls, and very often take down window treatments and then go for a walk and come back in, then I can see it because I've practiced enough on it. But no, your buyer 100% can't. So if there's anybody out there that can help them, and most stagers won't necessarily come in and move stuff like I like to, but I just love doing it. So I'm like, this needs to come out, this needs to come out. I'm going to take this. I'll wrap it. I'm going to put it in storage. You're going to pay for the storage unit. I'm going to get you a price to move at the same time. You're going to be 30% packed, and then you're going to sell the house for them.
I love how passionate you are about this. I mean, that's where if you can find people who honestly just love doing it,
I do. I really do. I was really sweaty all day. Don't think I've been wearing this all day. I am in black t-shirt, leggings all day. This top I have down to perfection. I tell you, it's a lot of sweaty stuff.
It's way better than mine, so I think you're winning.
I know. But yours is just like you've got that lighter natural blonde that I've been going for.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, hey, if people want to reach you, we've got your website up in the comments. Is that where you're pushing them, or how do you want them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can go to my website. They can find me on Facebook. They could just give me a call. My phone's with me the whole time. Emails, message me. I love to help anybody as little as much as they need. So call me.
Perfect. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. I really appreciate you coming on. You're the first one I've had come on and talk about staging. I think it's such a critical part of the process. So I really appreciate it.
It really is. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Have a good one.
Thank you very much. You too. Thank you so much.